fellow nerds. Today, I am here with another character breakdown, and I am continuing my mutants coverage with Firestar. Oh, I'm Megan, by the way, with Vigilante Vibes. Be sure to like and subscribe before I start so you don't miss any more of these character breakdowns, because I have so many of them just banked there waiting for you. So, who is Firestar? I think we all have seen the rumors. We know that Sadie Sink is confirmed to be in Spider-Man Brand New Day. And I think a lot of people are like, she's either MJ or Firestar. Personally, I think she could be Firestar. So let's learn about her. Let's get it all out of the way now before even more stuff is leaked from that movie set and we see Firestar in her full getup. Actually, that'd be kind of dope. I want to see that. So, anyways, back to what I was saying. Firestar's first appearance actually wasn't in a comic book, but in an animated TV show called Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, which came out September 12th, 1981. Then, in 1985, she finally had her first comic appearance in Uncanny X-Men number 193. Angelica Jones was just a regular girl, 13-year-old girl, but she was going through a tough time. She was bullied at school, her beloved grandmother passed away suddenly, and on top of all that, she discovered she had a weird new power to generate intense heat. With her grandmother gone, she was living alone with her dad, who had no idea how to help her with powers. Angelica felt totally confused, alone, and miserable, as you tend to do when you are a lonely mutant. Turns out, Angelica was a mutant, and her new powers were so strong they were picked up by Professor Charles Xavier's machine, Cerebro, which finds powerful mutants. At the same time, her presence was also detected by a similar machine used by Emma Frost, the White Queen of the Hellfire Club. Xavier and the X-Men were trying to find her to get her to join the school, where he teaches mutants to control their powers. Meanwhile, Emma Frost had the same idea, but with a different goal. She wanted to recruit Angelica. If I call her Angela, I'm so sorry. I have a very important Angela in my life. And Angelica just isn't registering in my head. So if you hear Angela, that's what I mean is Angelica. She wanted to recruit Angelica for her own school so she could train her to serve the sinister purposes of the Hellfire Club. Frost reached Angelica and her dad just moments before the X-Men did. Posing as the headmistress of a fancy Massachusetts academy, Frost convinced Angelica's dad to send her there to get the special help she needed. A year later, Angelica was doing great at controlling her powers under the White Queen's guidance. Angelica was still a sweet, innocent kid who had no clue about the evil nature of the Hellfire Club or the White Queen. She was actually pretty happy at the Massachusetts Academy and was super grateful to Frost for being so kind to her. Frost even gave her a cool code name called Firestar. This is like exactly how you just don't think it's going to happen. You think in a year you're going to see Angelica and she's just like a head bitch in charge. But no, she's just a sweet little thing. One of the Hellions, a team of young mutants being trained by Frost, was Thunderbird, who's James Proudstar. He wanted revenge on Xavier and the X-Men for the death of his brother, the original Thunderbird. Two other Hellions, Empath and Roulette, decided to help him out, even though he told them not to. Empath used his powers to make people feel emotions and forced Firestar to fall so deeply in love with him that she would do anything he asked, which is disgusting, by the way. He made her join the three Hellions in an attack on the X-Men at the military base in Colorado, since Frost had taught her to see the X-Men as enemies. But the X-Men defeated Firestar, Empath, and Roulette, and Thunderbird realized he was wrong for wanting revenge. Once Firestar was free of Empath's control, she felt a ton of guilt and despair for causing so much trouble. She was touched when Xavier offered to let her join his school. And she refused out of loyalty to Frost and went back to the Massachusetts Academy. So basically, Emma Frost does not deserve her. Eventually, though, Frost started to show her true colors. She wanted to use Angelica as an assassin against her rival Selene, who was the Black Queen of the Hellfire Club. To do this, Frost used her telepathic powers, a special armlet that let her get into Angelica's dreams, and her Hellfire lackeys to stage a series of accidents with Angelica's powers. This pushed Angelica further into isolation and right into Frost's manipulative arms. But ever since her first day at the academy, Angelica had a bodyguard named Randall Chase. Chase got really close to Angelica and was aware of Frost's evil plans. He became more and more worried about her. Finally, Frost had Chase tied up and was going to have him killed. He managed to escape, but he was fatally wounded. He found Angelica, told her the truth before he died in her arms. In a rage, Angelica turned on Frost, destroying the Academy's secret training center before going back to her dad, and they finally made up. Later, the hero Night Thrasher reached out to Angelica to join a team of other teenage superheroes called the New Warriors. She joined them for a long time and eventually started dating Marvel Boy, who later became Justice. After several months, Angelica found out her powers were slowly making her sterile, so she started using them less and less. During a revenge scheme by a gang of thugs called the Poison Memories, Firestar's dad was shot in the chest. He almost died, but thankfully recovered. Firestar also had to face a time without Vance, as he had to go to prison for accidentally killing his abusive father. Angelica ended up proposing to Justice, and he said yes. Angelica and Justice were brought to the Avengers by their fellow New Warrior, Rage, who was friends with the superhero team. The three of them helped the Avengers reform after they had been disbanded for a long time. Angelica and Justice even captured the villain Whirlwind to prove that they were worthy of being on the team. They were accepted as reserve members under the guidance of Hawkeye and soon became full members. Angelica was hesitant at first, but she stayed with the team for Justice, who was totally in love with the Avengers. She told the team about her medical issue, and Dr. Henry Pym helped her with the treatment. Angelica started to feel like she was really part of the team, and when Speedball tried to get her and Justice to rejoin the Warriors, they declined. Soon after, Angelica and Justice left active duty, supposedly to work on their relationship. But they were actually asked to secretly go undercover at the headquarters of the Triune Understanding. The leader, Jonathan Tremont, was secretly attacking the Avengers' public image for his own gain. Firestar and Justice discovered the true goal of the Understanding. They were using the beliefs of their members to power a spaceship to fight a cosmic threat. They helped some Avengers join the fight against the menace and helped the heroes stop the time-traveling villain Kang, the Conqueror, from taking over the world. After both crises were over, they left the Avengers again. The two left the Avengers to explore their relationship before getting married. Angelica started college and enjoyed a normal life, but she left all the wedding planning to Justice. When he confronted her about it, she confessed that she needed more life experience before settling down. Justice left in a huff, and it seemed their engagement was over. After the Scarlet Witch altered reality and took away the powers of most mutants, Firestar was one of the 198 officially known mutants who still had her powers. With the Superhuman Registration Act signed into law, Angelica decided to stop being Firestar. She was afraid her identity would be revealed, which could put her family in danger, and she worried about being exploited. She decided to focus on her studies and tossed her mask into the streets. Even though she was in semi-retirement, Angelica became friends with Black Cat, Hellcat, and Spectrum. They would go shopping, have lunch, get spa treatments in New York. You know, girl stuff, girly things. Angelica kept working in college and hung out with her friends in her spare time. One day, she broke some devastating news to them. She had been diagnosed with breast cancer. Her friends rallied behind her, helping her out, going to her medical appointments. Angelica saw a night nurse and was also examined by Dr. Strange. They tried to reassure her, but it looked like the cancer had grown a lot. Even though neither Dr. Strange nor Night Nurse could help, Angelica woke up one morning completely cured. In a desperate attempt to save her, her three friends had gone to extraordinary ways to cure her. Ultimately, one of them succeeded, but at a huge cost. Hellcat had made a deal with her ex-husband, Damon Hellstrom. In exchange for curing Hellcat's friend, Hellstrom demanded that Hellcat spend one night in hell. But Hellstrom had a secret plan, forcing Angelica, Black Cat, and Spectrum to go to hell to save Hellcat. Angelica had come out of retirement and became Firestar again. All I'm saying is, like, get you a friend like Hellcat. Like, that's a real friend right there. First of all, you got to go talk to your ex-husband and make a deal with him, and you agree to go to hell? Girl, that makes me proud to be a girl. Juggling life as a college student and a superhero was not easy. Without a team to back her up, Firestar would often miss classes to stop criminals. One time, she was rushing to class, trying to ignore her diva teammates' calls to hang out when the Bastards of Evil attacked New York. Changing course, Firestar ditched class and was one of the first heroes to show up. Using the element of surprise, she fought the supervillain Aftershock. She managed to save a heroine named Arana, who had also joined the fight, but they were still outnumbered, and Firestar was soon knocked down by Aftershock. She was still fighting when Warhead blew up. Luckily, Firestar survived the explosion. In the following days, she was disappointed by lack of support she got from her teammates and quit the Divas. She teamed up with a new partner named Gravity. Together, they started hunting down the Bastards of Evil by trying to find their criminal parents. This led Firestar into a fight with the veteran supervillain Electro. Despite his age, Electro used his greater experience to absorb Firestar's radiation and turn it against her, both of her, actually, her and Gravity. He took advantage of the moment to warn the two young heroes that he had no family ties to the Bastards of Evil before sparing their lives. It later turned out that all the bastards were former college students that the Superior had brainwashed into believing they were children of supervillains, all to cause chaos in hopes of succeeding where his father, the leader, had failed. After the bastards were defeated, Firestar decided to keep the young allies going with Gravity's help, and the two of them started to show signs of having romantic feelings for each other. Angelica had a reunion with Justice, and the two of them were confronted with their past selves during their time with the Avengers, thanks to the time-traveling activities of Loki. Of course, Loki. This forced them to face their lingering feelings and finally move on from their past relationships. Firestar then got a job as a physics teacher at the Jean Grey School of Higher Learning and became an X-Man. She admitted that she had a crush on Iceman, but he rejected her. Probably because it turns out he was gay. After being dragged to hell with other X-Men, she was pulled into a quest to find the deceased Nightcrawler, my favorite. When Wolverine, who had lost his healing power, went to Canada to answer a distress call from Heather Hudson about her missing husband, the X-Men decided to follow to protect their friend. When they got there, they found that the curse of the Wendigo had come back, and it was rapidly turning everyone on Canadian soil into Wendigo. Members of the X-Men, including Firestar, teamed up with the members of Alpha Flight to fight the Wendigo and contain the threat. Alpha Flight member Talisman had been working on a magical solution to the problem and was about to do her magic to end the curse when it transformed Wolverine, stabbed her with his claws. Talisman was taken away to be cared for while Angelica and the X-Men held back the Wendigo. An ancient evil god was the cause of the curse. Angelica, Storm, Rockslide, and Iceman were chained to a wall and their powers were weakened. Just before the Wendigo could finish them, they freed themselves and forced one of the more benevolent but cowardly gods to grant them temporary godhood. Appearing as a blindingly bright living flame, Angelica joined the living lightning that was Storm, the living ice that was Iceman, and the living earth that was Rockslide. Together, with the help of the X-Men and Alpha Flight, the evil one was defeated, and everyone who was cursed was brought back to being human. Because of a plan by a fascist lookalike of Captain America, the United States was briefly under the control of Hydra. As part of Hydra's takeover, the mutant population of America was moved to a new nation called New Tian. During New Tian's short existence, until the U.S. went back to normal, Firestar became a member of the New Tian Strike Force, along with Marrow, Toad, Mondo, Archangel, and Wolfsbane. Sometime after the U.S. was restored, Angelica went back to the Xavier Institute in New York City. When the mansion was attacked by Satoria, She helped Storm, Kitty Pryde, and Iron Man stop 4 giant projectiles from hitting the building. Firestar was one of the many X-Men who responded to Jean Grey's telepathic call to rally against X-Man. Firestar and her fellow X-Men in the area seemingly vanished when X-Man destroyed himself and everyone in a huge psychic attack. Firestar, along with other street-level heroes who had fought in a previous battle with Carnage, were brought together by Iron Fist to help Misty Knight during the Dark Carnage's latest attack. They fought various Carnage lookalikes, only to face Demi-Goblin and her pet, Man-Wolf. They successfully defeated the monsters and freed Man-Wolf. After that, they joined the other heroes at a warehouse to fight the rest of the Carnage group. In the end, the monsters turned back into humans as Venom absorbed Carnage's symbiote after killing him. Next, in her crazy life, after the Sentry started leading the forces of the Cancerverse to invade the Negative Zone, then to the Posyverse, Mr. Fantastic used his dimensional anchor to gather various heroes, including Firestar, to fight the evil forces. In the end, Bob Reynolds, who is Sentry, re-emerged with the Void, while Nova sacrificed himself to defeat the evil forces. So, as you can see, she has a wild life, and it is not over yet. She was a candidate to become an X-Man. During the Hellfire Gala, it was announced that she would be one of the new team members. But a short while after, the mutant-hating organization Orchis attacked another Hellfire Gala, killing several mutants, including Jean Grey, who died like so many times. With her last breath, Jean telepathically asked Angelica to become a mole for the mutants and join Orchis, hoping to destroy them from the inside. Unable to refuse Jean's final wish, which is so rude, might I say, because who's going to tell a woman who is dying no? Whatever. Firestar appeared to betray the X-Men and joined Orchis, and the X-Men believed that she had let Orchis into Krakoa. I couldn't do that. Even if I was like doing the right thing, I was undercover, I was fighting the good fight secretly. I don't want people to think like the worst of me. Even if it's not true, it's just, my anxiety could never. After the Hellfire Massacre, Firestar was based at Orchis headquarters in outer space. She was tracked down by Kitty Pryde, who wanted to kill her for betraying the X-Men, rightfully so. But Angelica was lucky enough to convince Kitty it was all a ruse. Kitty and Angelica agreed that Angelica would keep her cover as a mole, even if it meant facing the wrath of her fellow mutants. This made Angelica feel incredibly alone, but she stuck with it. While there, she was asked to work with another mutant named Judas Traveler. On another mission, Firestar had to take down her former mutant ex-fiancé, Justice. Orchis managed to capture him, and he had no idea why Firestar would betray the mutants. Orchis also tried to disable Justice's powers with a Blight's Will injection, but Justice managed to escape, much to Angelica's relief. She hopes that he can forgive her someday. Exes, you know, I would have probably just taken him out. I would do that to a few of my exes. After Justice's escape, Firestar saw her chance and made Orchis believe that Traveler was a traitor. Traveler was caught. His powers were disabled. Dr. Stasis decided to promote Firestar, and she became Orchis' new acting director. She is now more determined than ever to burn Orchis down to the ground. Firestar would eventually be found out as a spy within Orchis and was captured and prepared for execution by her boss, Dr. Stasis. However, she was rescued by Emma Frost, Synch, and Shadowcat and rejoined her fellow X-Men for the final fight against Orchis. So that is Angelica. That is Firestar. She's a pretty cool character. I dig her. I like her. She's strong. She's confident. I dig her. So yeah, as usual, I have comics for you to check out to get to know Angela a little better. Angelica. Get to know Angelica a little better. So starting off, West Coast Avengers from 2024. Just read it all. X-Men Unlimited Infinity Comics, numbers 1 through 12 to 117. X-Men Annual, number 1 from 2022. Amazing X-Men number 7, and Amazing X-Men 1 through 19. So, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any more of my breakdowns. With that being said, have a marvelous day.